When you let systems build organically, then you are able to make more responsive policy. Hi guys, so over 10 years ago, I started to indulge in charitable work. I was in campus. It's something that I was very, very passionate about. My dad would tell me, I would say things like I would be able to fight for the girls, to work in advocacy as early as those things were not even really like careers. And so he would wonder like, what kind of careers are this? So I was very, very passionate about the non-profit work. And so I started actively to distribute sanitary towels and to pay fee for girls when I was in campus. And so when I was done, I decided to register in 2020 to register an organization. And the organization was basically to do everything that I had been doing for the last 10 years without actually a registration. And so today I want to talk about how to start a nonprofit. So let me start with the why. Things you need to know before you start and why you need to start. I believe that it's very nice to be passionate about stuff and to do stuff outside of a nonprofit and a system. But one of the things that I've realized that is really, really essential that would be able to persuade someone to start a nonprofit is because you're building a community. Some of the work that you do, charity work that you do, need to be able to outlive you. They need to be able to outperform what you're able to do as an individual. And so you might have like some money, and then other people might want to come in and to be able to support the passion that you have. And people don't support things that are not within a structure. And so the first thing that I really, really want you to know about starting a nonprofit, it gives you a structure. It invites people inside some of the things that you're passionate about, and it builds a community around your passions, which is perfect. So there are things you need to know before you start. One of the things that you need to really know is that you will never ever succeed in this field if you don't have passion for it. I see people every single day start organizations because other people have started. You look at someone's growth and you envy that growth and you want to start as well. You look at how an organization has grown over time and you want to start because that organization has grown. You look at someone and you say, this person, I'm smarter than them, I can do this better than them, and whatever. And that is where you start. If your starting is not led by passion, then you will never, ever, ever succeed in the nonprofit field, because nonprofit field is one of the fields that is very lonely and very intensive on so many levels. Labor intensive, finances intensive, time intensive, and you need to pour passion into it. And when you're not passionate about it, it shows. And so it could be something as simple as you're just passionate about wildlife. Go on and do something around that. You're passionate about the girl child, like I am. Go and do something about that. You're passionate about water, sanitation, hygiene. Go do something about that. But you cannot start because you saw someone start and you want to be able to start because of them, or you've seen someone that is able to fund the work that you're doing, and so you're starting so that they fund that work. Okay, so sorry we cut off earlier. But I was talking about passion and the place for passion for the work that you're doing. Because if there is no passion, it shows. If there's no passion, there's no drive. If there's no passion, then you'll be able to be frustrated, because every single day you must pour energy into this work. And if you're led by anything else other than passion, then it becomes very, very difficult. The second tip that I have is you need to start with what you have. A lot of people want to be able to start in a grand way. Truth is, there's no amount of preparation that can ever prepare you for this work. It's the sleepless nights. It's the investments that you pour in. It's the lives that you're able to see impacted every single day, but also it's the level of draining. It drains you. And that's why I'm going back. I always go back to passion, because when you're drained for something you're passionate about, it gives you more energy to keep on going. And so when you want to wait for everything to be aligned so that you begin, then what you then realize is you will never start. You will always go round and round and round and round, because nothing will ever align for this work and nothing will ever prepare you. And so start with what you have. You can start in your living room, you can start in your dining table. And this is in no way advocating for briefcase organizations that are popping from one meeting to the other and do nothing. And yes, I said it. It's not to be able to give excuses for people who just use it as a brand, because it's not a brand. It's actually the work that you put in. But you can start from where you are. I can remember when we started, I went and rented out this small, very, very small office. It was so small. And we would sit on a bench, because there's only one desk and one chair. And then we would sit on a bench outside of the office, just because the inside was too full. Like you'd not even have guests coming. And so I leased that place for a year. No one funded me for leasing. It had to be my money. I drained some of my money to be able to lease it, to be able to renovate it, to be able to start. But not everyone has some savings to be able to pour in. If you're passionate, passion will drive you, and passion will make room for you. And so start from where you are. And that is to not to discount the fact that it's important to be able to ensure that you actually make a promise and you deliver on the promise. So it's not starting and then you're just there. The third tip that I want to be able to give you is, do not obsess over the how. And it's very linked to just starting from where you are. So many people want to be able to build structures and systems and all these things before they start. Trust me. If you let these things move organically, then they are built into the culture of the organization. I'll give you a case in point. When we started, we were in policies. We did 1,001 policies that actually, when I read right now, don't make sense at all. One of the things that we did was the maternity thing, and we were giving maternity leaves for 3 months. Right now, we are giving full paid maternity leave for 6 months, because we saw a need for childcare and these other things. And we saw it across time. So when you let systems build organically, then you are able to make more responsive policies and plans than if you are to start obsessing with them before you start. So that is one thing. If I had to go back, I would do very differently. It does not make sense to start building out everything at the beginning, because you also do not know how it will pan out. The fourth tip that I want to give is, do not go into non-profit work to make money. This is not where people make money. And I know it has looked like that for many years, and people move into it and that get grants and do all these things. You find that most of organizations that operate like that have a lifespan. You cannot get into the nonprofit to make money and have an organization that will live 20, 40, 80, 100 years, because once you lose trust, then that's it. So don't move into nonprofit to make money. Go into business, invest, do these things, make money outside of the nonprofit work, because nonprofit work, in the way it's structured, it's nonprofit for a reason. It is supposed to be you creating impact with every fund that you get. And a lot of times when you get in, we think that there's a lot of money until you actually get in and you realize that you will spend your money more than you ever thought you would. And so it does not matter how big your organization is, and there are big organizations. From a founder perspective, I still make I still need to do investment. There are times that we need to be able to put in some money somewhere. We need to be able to sponsor a child somewhere. We see a need and it can't wait for a donation, and you have to do it here and there. And so you get to spend your money a lot. Don't come into nonprofit to make money. And if you can, when you're starting, don't go into it as your main hustle. Have other jobs, even if it's part-time, even if it's remote work, even if it's like just things that you pick up and own consultancy work and all that. Do something so that you don't have to develop a hate relationship with the job because you're not making money, because you will not draw a salary for a while. I still don't draw a salary from my organization, despite the fact that it's employed 40 plus people. And that's because there's still some aspects of me putting into this organization that every founder must be able to do. And lastly, you must invest time, funds, and energy. And I cannot underscore the fact that you will invest a lot of yourself in the creation and sustainability of an organization. It doesn't matter where it is. You will always invest time. I remember there were times that we would work 16 hours because you needed to figure things out. I remember like me going into lease for 5 years, an office, be able to ensure that we have stuff in the office, we have things running in the office. And though I started with volunteers, but then there's still things that have to be in the office. There needs to be paperwork, there needs to be printers, there's need for computers, there's need for water, there's need for ensuring like the basics of this organization actually run, so that you don't end up with something that is a shell of itself. So you must invest at the initial stages. This is not to scare anyone. And going back to the point that I started, let your passion lead you. If you're not passionate about it, don't do it. If you're passionate about it, start it now. You don't have to wait until you get the right words, the right spaces, the right people. Just start, and everyone else will align to it. There's an important thing about building a community around your passion, and starting a nonprofit is a good way to build a community around the things that you're passionate about. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please watch the next one, because I will link it to the next one. I want to cover mistakes that I did when I was starting and how to get funding for your nonprofit. Otherwise, thank you and see you next time. Bye.